Eddie, you can go ahead and start recording. And so guys, welcome to the closing training. I'm so excited to be here with you today. My name is Karen Hammond, and I am a sales and leadership coach with Emerge Sales Training, and also the co-creator of one of our courses called Your Leadership Foundation. And what we're going to do today is we are going to have an honest conversation about what is hard about selling and closing the sale, actually making that sale. And you might be wondering, who is this Emerge Sales Training? So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then we're actually going to go into 5 key areas that make closing and selling a more enjoyable process for both you and your customer. And I'd love to just turn it over to you, Roger and Emmanuel, just to talk for a moment about why it was important for you guys to share this with your team and have them on this call today.
When I get started.
Well, we've heard, first of all, great things about your Emerge training. We have a few team members that already followed your program, and they found some sort of relief in getting into understanding sales a little better. So we thought that why not putting this program available for those that want to know more and get some ease at selling and have better closing rates so they can advance in their business. We've been introduced to Emerge personally, Roger and I, and part of our team during the Rise Up training that we've had in April through the introduction of a basic class that we thought was really wonderful because it was going straight to the point instead of being delivering a lot of information and not necessarily getting great results. So we thought, why not put it to a broader audience and see who's interested in this program. And Roger,
awesome. Yeah,
for me it's all about simplicity. I love tools that make things simple for people, that makes it more duplicable, and it also means that we bring back the art of listening and the art of humanity to the subject, and I think that's critical. So the quicker, the simpler we can make things, then the more interaction we can actually have, and for me that's what you guys have delivered. So I'm really excited about this.
Awesome. Well, super excited to be with you. And this is not a teaser training. So I'm actually going to give you 5 tips that you're going to be able to walk away and implement today to get better results in your business. But obviously in our time here together, we can't go over all the things about selling and recruiting and leadership. And so at the end, we will talk a little bit about the Emerge programs. And if you decide to take the next step and continue working with us, I have a discount code for you guys and a fast action bonus too that I'm excited to share with you. And so let's go ahead. We're just going to open up Pandora's box. Let's talk about what is hard about selling and closing the sale. And you guys can unmute yourselves. And I know somebody has to be brave and go first, but this looks like a brave group. What comes up for you guys when I say that? What's hard about selling and closing the sale?
I think a lot of people struggle with the close of if they can afford it.
Yeah. Wendy, thank you for being brave and going first. So the I can't afford it objection. Do you guys ever hear that one? Or gosh, I can get these cheaper somewhere else. These are pretty expensive oils. I've seen these for a lot less expensive. And so I would bucket out these in categories, and I would put that one under the product value, right? So product value, it can be hard to show our customers product value. What else is hard about selling?
I think for a lot of people, they don't want to feel like they're pressuring people.
Yes. Who here wants to be a pushy salesperson? No hands, right? Thank you for that, Roger. What else is hard?
And getting the commitment of people after the class. You've delivered really great information, and it's just how we can ease people into making that commitment, making sure we delivered the information that helped them to make that decision.
100%. So really getting the yes or the no, right? Helping them make the commitment. Does anyone? Yeah, go ahead.
I think what I've done previously is I've used far too many oils and I've lost them. That they're so wanting to try out the oils that I don't even get to the closing.
Yeah.
I've done that several times.
Thank you, Gwenda. So having a sales process can be hard to actually get to the part where we make the sale, right?
Yep.
Thank you for sharing that. That's so honest. There's so much to talk about, right? And who else here? That brings up such a good point. Is there anyone on the call today that feels like, gosh, I just really love the education piece. I love to talk about the oils. I love to share the oils. I could talk about them all day long and really educate people on all the awesome benefits. But can someone else actually come in and do the part at the end where we ask for the sale? I don't like to do that part. Anyone? Isabel?
Yeah.
Does that ring true for you?
Yeah. I have a lot of people, they say, well, I already have oils, other oils, but then I don't need a kit. And then what do you do?
Yeah.
That's a problem as well.
Yeah. Thank you for being honest about that.
I think sometimes I struggle to keep things simple, like there's the 3 ways and blah, blah, blah. On a good day in English, I've got it. And some days it's just, I lose the track and they're going, what?
Yeah. You're watching their face and you're like, oh no.
Yeah. And I'm fully behind them. I empower them with the oils, but I'm just like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Sometimes we do. And we find ourselves overwhelming them.
Yes.
Right. Thank you for being honest. Is it Michaela?
Yes.
Michaela, thank you. Anything else that comes up, guys? Why is it so? Oh, go ahead.
Sometimes when I share the kits that are available for sale, it doesn't make the people buy anything right away. Almost always. It gives them a hint what there is to buy and things like this, but there is almost nobody who buys right away. It takes time for the people that I teach, at least.
Is it Katrin?
Yes, that's right.
So thank you, Katrin, for being honest about that and sharing that. And so really people seem excited, but they just don't make the commitment, right?
Or they could make it, but it takes too much time. It hardly ever happens to me to make the sale right away.
Yeah. And then we're left with that follow-up, right? And who wonders, gosh, how much is too much? Anyone?
Sometimes people are just afraid to have the credit card.
Yeah.
People also.
Yeah. Thank you, Benedict.
And also, and especially when it's family and friends.
Right. The family and friends, that can be a tricky one. And so why is it so important that we get better at all of these things that are hard?
Our business becomes more successful.
Yeah, so I just heard our business becomes more successful. Why else?
Well, if it's our mission to empower people with the essential oils, then we need to get them into their homes and help them to realize the value in what they're actually getting.
100%, right? And so I get it. I understand all of the things that are hard. I personally have been in sales for over 20 years. I've been leading sales teams for the last 10. And here at Emerge, I've coached hundreds of students. And these are not just things challenging to this group here today, right? These are things that we've all been challenged with. And so Doterra Wellness Advocates typically turn to us at Emerge for one of three reasons. Now, the first reason is that they may not be getting the results that they were expecting or wanting in their business. Secondly, they might be brand new to sales and they really just need to learn those foundational skills for selling without being pushy. Or they might be rocking out their own sales so they can sell, they have tons of sales, but gosh, they can't find anyone to join them in this journey as a business. And what makes Emerge different from other training companies out there is that we actually have full support on all of our core programs. You're not doing this alone. You actually have a sales and leadership coach with you, walking alongside you. Our training is written from the customer's perspective. So one thing I'm going to ask you all to do today is take off that sales hat. So take off your salesperson hat, and you may be like, I've never even put that on yet, but take it off and then put on your customer's hat and really view this training through the eyes of the customer. And then the last thing is our students really get results. So on average, our students triple their sales in just 8 weeks. And so the difference is we're not someone in your upline saying, hey, just go do more stuff, talk to more people. We're actually coming to you from the perspective of the customer. And we're saying, for the love, can you please make it easier for me to buy your product? Because who actually benefits the most when someone buys your product?
They do.
They do, right? 100%. And how many of you guys believe in the life-changing properties of your products? Raise your hand if you believe in that. I'm sure everyone on this call. And so I will say then you really have a moral and an ethical obligation to learn how to sell well. Because if you cannot sell well, do I, the customer, have the things that I need to help my family? Right? And so let's say that my kiddo gets a tummy bug. He's up in the middle of the night. What do I actually need to have on hand to help him? Karen, I saw you mouthing it.
Digestion.
Digestion, right. And here's the thing though, can I predict when my kiddo is going to get sick?
No.
No, so I need to be prepared, right? Not just for the things that I'm dealing with today, but also the things that may come up. I actually need to have the oils on hand so that I can get to them. And so here is our training philosophy. It's that our customers come first. Our team comes second, and our ego comes third. And we really serve our customers best by creating an environment where it's really easy and comfortable for them to buy not only the things that they need today, but also help them be prepared for the future things that might come up. How do you guys feel about that? Good? Awesome. But here's the thing. Most of us don't want sales training, right? Karen's like, right. Because we think about the salesperson, right? And who here has said, I am not a salesperson, nor do I want to be a salesperson? And why do we say that? When you guys think about salesperson, what do you think about?
Pushy.
Karen, I'll unmute. Yes, pushy.
Pushy.
Yes, 100%. Right? What else?
It's just uncomfortable at times.
Yeah. And we think about that salesperson that doesn't listen, they don't care, and so how do they make us feel as a customer?
Many times we feel we're their last thought. We're the ends to a means to an end. That they
That's all
just
about
want.
them.
They just want our sale. They want our money, and we know that our motive is to get these products to them, but they don't know that.
Right. Thank you for that, Karen. And so we don't do sales training because we don't want to be that person, right? And so then we're left with really telling our story and following up with our customers over and over and over and over and over again, right? And here's the thing. Can you actually think of anything more high pressure and pushy than talking all about yourself and then following up with people until they finally buy or they change their phone number, right? They're like, oh my gosh, I can't take another call from this person. And so if we're not careful in an effort to not be that pushy salesperson, who might we accidentally become? What do you guys think?
The pushy salesperson.
The pushy salesperson. Is it Fatima?
Yeah, Fatima.
Thank you, Fatima. Right? We might accidentally become that person. But on the flip side, have you guys ever worked with a really, really good salesperson? Anyone? Yeah? What was that experience like? How did that really good, awesome salesperson make you feel?
For me, it was great. I hate shopping, especially clothes shopping.
Yes.
And I was looking for a dress for an event, and really was not wanting to spend a lot of money. But actually, I went to a shop and spent 3 times more money simply because the lady was amazing. She just spent time with me, just even like showed me things that I didn't even know I could put together, add accessories, and I was just blown away. And I just loved my experience. I felt great.
I love that.
Credit card, but
and your credit card was like, and Roger was like, oh no, what just happened, right?
Exactly.
But I mean, I can literally see the joy on your face when you talk about that experience.
It was
and
fun.
So yeah, guys, and I think that we all know when we work with someone who really has our best interest at heart and they make us feel like that, it's really a joy. Would you guys agree with that? Yeah. Another reason that most people don't like sales training is that a lot of sales training focuses on overcoming objections. And so what that might be, so if you tell me, the salesperson, that you can't afford my product, I would be prepared to come back with something. So I might say something like, oh gosh, well, I know you like to go get your Starbucks lattes every day. If you just give up that latte every day, then you can afford the oils and you don't need that latte anyway, right? Do you guys want to say stuff like that to your customers? No, we don't want to say things like that. Or sales training will focus on follow-up. And how many times have you guys heard that you should follow up with your customers? 5? Anyone here more than that? Stephen, higher?
12.
12. Arena says 8. Right? And so it can start to feel like this. Stephen, are you ready to buy yet? Hi, Stephen. It's me again. Ready to buy? Hi, ready now? Are you ready now? Are you ready now? Are you ready now? Right? And how does that feel as a salesperson, and how does that feel for the customer? But here's the thing, guys. Sometimes it works. We follow up with our customer over and over and over again, and they finally buy the products. And then we want to talk with them about the business because we're so excited. They bought the products. Certainly they want to join us in our business, right? And so we talk with them about it, and here's what they're thinking. Okay, so based on your sales process, if I join you, I'm going to give away free product. I'm going to follow up with people over and over and over again for about 6 months. And then I'm going to make about $20. Yes, I'm in. Sign me up. Is that what they're saying? No. And so when they're watching our sales process, they're determining whether or not they want to do this as a business. So we'll hear a lot of folks say, gosh, I think I have a problem recruiting. And we'll always loop it back to the sales process. We want to look at that first and foremost. So here's what we believe in at Emerge. We believe in something called proactive selling. Because don't we actually know the reasons that our customers don't buy our products? If we were to brainstorm some of those reasons, what reasons come up for you guys? What have you heard?
They're too expensive.
Too expensive, right? So we can bucket that into the product value category. Would you agree? Most people will actually pay for what they see value in, right?
Yeah.
What else?
Most of the time they say that they need time to think about it, or that their budget for the month is set, so they could include it in a further budget.
Yes, and so who here, yeah, that's such a great point, Katrin. So who here hears, I need to think about it, I need to talk to my husband or wife, right? What else do you guys hear as objections?
Too many oils. How do I use them? This is too many things in front of me. I'll never make use of them.
Yeah, so just basic overwhelm. Is that really what you're talking about, Liana?
I think Liana, yeah, I think
Liana.
that's it's the impression I get. It's the, oh gosh, okay, I get what lavender does, but am I really going to be able to know how to use everything else that's in this kit?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do it in the first place because it seems like I'll end up with a product that will sit on my shelf.
Yep, 100%. Thank you for that.
In Europe, many people don't like that they have to buy through internet and don't get the product right away, and they need to wait, and they don't like the pyramid scam, and they don't like the Americans product also sometimes. So we have many objections in Europe.
Yeah, and that you bring up a really good one, Benedict. So what about MLM? Have you guys heard that? Right?
It's terrible. Nobody, but they said it's a pyramid scheme.
We don't want to do a pyramid scheme. This is an MLM, right? I don't want to do that. Thank you for bringing that one up. Any other objections that come up? Reasons that that people don't buy your products?
Sometimes people like to use other brands, or particularly recently I find people are looking for local brands, maybe from, local to their county or country, and they don't really want to go for a big kind of corporate brand.
Yep, thank you. And so I can buy it locally. I can get these products somewhere else, right? And so again, I would probably bucket that under the product value.
This might be a story. Oh, sorry, Isabel. Do you want to say something? I can see Isabel. This might be a story that I'm telling myself, but it's about the pioneering aspect that we're doing in Europe, and about how the element of trust has to be built up. So trust, people needing to trust me. Often they've never met me before. And also trust in Doterra, because it's not a well-known brand here yet in some countries. But it might be something I'm making up for myself.
No, I think that's valid, Michaela. So really trust with you and trust with the company. So I think those are really valid reasons that people don't buy. Thank you for sharing that. And so guys, what if we took all of these reasons that customers aren't buying and we addressed these ahead of time, so that when it came to the end of our sales conversation or our class, most of the people were comfortable enough to just actually purchase? Would that be amazing? Okay, so we're getting some clapping. Katrin's like, please, can we make that happen? And so our students actually make sales on 60 to 80% of their first time appointments. And so would you guys like to hear the 5 keys that are helping them to do that? We ready? Okay, so you'll want a pen. I will also be sharing this information over in the chat for you too. And if you don't know how to save the chat, I just learned this, so I'll share with you. On the right hand, there's a little button that says more, and if you drop it down, you can actually save your chat for later, okay? All right, guys, so key number 1 is no more selling on the fly. Set up an appointment. So I want you guys to picture, for those of you who just got back from convention, I know you've got a cute backpack, okay? So I want you to picture you've got your cute doTERRA backpack on. You probably had to get some swag at the swag shop, right? So you have on your doTERRA visor or your doTERRA t-shirt. You're hanging out at the park. You're spraying your On Guard. You're rubbing lavender all over everybody's bug bites. And someone says to you, what are these oils? Now, someone be honest. What do you usually do? Because you're so excited, right? Someone asked you about your product. Karen, I'll unmute you.
We sell them. We tell them about the oils.
Yeah, we tell them about the oils, guys. And we're excited, right? Sometimes do we start doing this? We're like, oh my gosh, I can't stop talking because I have them and they want to know and I'm going to keep talking, right? And so, Karen, when we do that, we call it the verbal vomit. What happens to our customers' eyes?
They glaze.
Yes. And when we see the glazed eyes, do they usually buy the products?
No.
No, and you never come back to the park, right? They're like, if your car's there, they're like, I gotta make sure that her car's not there, right? And so here's the thing: who really missed out the most in this scenario?
The customer.
The customer. And did we give this person a choice as to whether or not they wanted to receive all of this amazing information that we have?
No.
No. So let's kind of flip this situation around for a bit, okay? I want you guys to picture that your doTERRA business is booming and you are going to have to hire a virtual assistant. Does that sound amazing? Can you guys picture that? And so you know that in order to hire this virtual assistant, you will need to have a work contract in place for them. So you find yourself at a wedding and you're chatting with a lawyer who just happens to specialize in contract law. Now, does the lawyer start doing this about all the things you need to know about putting this contract together for your VA? What do they do?
No, but he's not enthusiastic about his work.
Katrin, right? Or is he?
I don't think so.
What does he do?
He gives you a card and he asks you to call him back on Monday to set an appointment.
Right, because guys, when we're at a wedding, are we in the space to receive this information? Right? And so when the lawyer says, call me, we'll set up an appointment, whose time is the lawyer actually honoring?
Our time.
Our time. And who else's time?
Yes.
Yeah. And also really the information, right? So that we have a proper place to really discuss all of the awesome information. And so what if we actually honored our time, our customer's time, and the information, and we gave our customer a choice as to whether or not they wanted to receive this information? And I'm going to put the words in the chat. Here is what we would say. Usually what I do is set up a time. We'll talk a little bit about your health goals. We'll talk about doTERRA and the most popular kits. My part takes about 30 minutes and you don't have to buy anything, but if you see something you like, I'll help you order it. Is that something that you would be open to? Now, how do you guys think that most people would respond to that? What do you guys think?
I would say they would put positive response on that.
How come?
You're valuing your time, and I think as well you're valuing the information you have to give to them as well.
Yeah.
You can't just give them the information, just blurting it out and hoping they're going to hear it all.
Yeah.
So you're valuing their time, you're valuing your own time, and you're valuing the information as well.
I love that. I love that, Gwenda. Thank you. And so now, can they say, no, thanks. I don't think I'd like to meet with you.
Yeah, they could say that.
Yeah. And is that okay?
Yeah.
Right? Can we be okay with that?
Yep.
Right. Because we really want to meet with the people who say, yes, I want to receive the information that you have. And when we do that, guess what happens to our customers' trust with us? What do you guys think happens to that trust?
Well, you start building the trust.
Yeah. You start to build the trust, right? And so that's really the first key. Now you're going to see this theme over the course of these tips, that the theme is really to build solid trust with our customers. Okay, so the second tip is to give an agenda. Now, this really comes at the beginning of our appointment. We're actually going to give our customer an agenda. And this is going to sound really familiar, like just almost the same thing we said. So we'll sit down with our customer, Zoom with our customer, and simply say, like I mentioned when we set up the appointment, today we're going to go over your health goals. We'll talk a little bit about doTERRA and the most popular kits. My part will take about 30 minutes, and you don't have to buy anything, but if you see something you like, I'll help you order it today. How does that sound? Now, does this sound almost exactly like what we said when we set up the appointment? Why is that important?
Well, so that you haven't tricked them.
Right.
Right.
Michaela, right. Have you guys ever, Ariel said consistency, right? Have you guys ever had, I call it the switcheroo. Like you think you're going to meet someone for coffee or a glass of wine, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, they're only trying to sell me something. And how does that feel? Michaela, I saw you're mouthing the word. What is it? Oops, we're playing unmute mute game.
It feels gross.
Yeah, right. And we don't want our customer to feel that way. We want to be really authentic and actually do what we said we were going to do. Now, when we give them an agenda, how does that make them feel? When they know exactly what to expect.
Or secured.
Yes.
They know what to expect today.
100%, right? And I'll also have you guys pay attention to that last line, that you don't have to buy anything. Now, this is very different than being a big wimp. Okay, so we're not going to be desperate and say, please just meet with me, and I promise you don't have to buy, I won't make you buy anything, right? We're just going to simply acknowledge the truth that they don't have to buy, but we're going to help them buy if they'd like to. And how do you think that that makes the customer feel?
Free?
Yeah. Karen, what were you going to say?
It takes the pressure off. You feel less pressure.
Right? I love that.
And that they have a choice.
Yeah, Leanna, I love that they have a choice.
And also trust increases once more.
And what, Katrin, say it again?
Trust increases once more.
Yes, amen. The trust increases once more. I love that. Awesome, guys. So that is the second key. Okay, are we doing okay so far? Sales training is okay? Nobody's freaking out? Good. Okay, guys. So the third key is to gain input. And so this really comes after the agenda. And do our customers buy only because of our story, or whose story is actually the most important to them?
Their own.
Their own story, right? But what do we often lead with?
Our own.
Right? And here's the thing, who do people actually like to talk about the most?
Themselves.
Themselves, Naomi says. And so what if we actually let them talk about themselves and we ask them some questions? And so I'll teach you 3 questions you can ask right after the agenda. And so the first question is simply, what else do you want to make sure that we go over today? And then we're going to say, I don't want to bore you with a bunch of information that you don't care about. So tell me a little bit about your health goals, even the health goals of your family. And then the $1 million question is what else? And I'll show you how to use that. And then we can ask them, what do you already know about Doterra? And so let's do practice. So Michaela, you're kind of right in my view. Would you be my practice partner? I know you're not too shy to speak, so I've got to pick on you, right? Thank you, Michaela. All right, so Michaela, like I mentioned when we set up the appointment, today we're going to go over your health goals. We'll talk a little bit about Doterra and the most popular kits. My part will take about 30 minutes, and you don't have to buy, but if you see something you like, I'll help you order it today. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
Awesome. What else do you want to make sure that we go over today?
I'm feeling like I don't know enough about how to use them safely.
Okay. And so I'm going to write that down and we'll make sure to chat about that. And I don't want to bore you with a bunch of information that you don't care about. So tell me a little bit about your health goals, even the health goals of your family members.
So I'd really like some help sending my kids off to school in the morning with enthusiasm and also feeling calm.
Oh, yes. We can talk about that. I have the same thing over here. What else?
My husband gets terrible headaches.
He's like, oh no, what are you going to say?
I'm making it up. Head tension.
Okay, got it. What else?
I can't think of anything else.
Okay. Any sleep issues, allergy issues, anything like that?
Yes. Oh, yes. So yes, it's coming to to spring, and that I do suffer with hay fever. If there's anything like that.
Got it. Okay. And what do you already know about Doterra?
I know nothing about Doterra.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Michaela. So guys, what stood out to you about that? Oops, Karen, let me take you off.
About her. It wasn't about you. It was all about her.
Yeah, it was all about her, right? And when's the last time that someone asked you a question and then said, what else? What does that actually show our customer?
That we care.
That we care. Ariel says you were genuine in listening, right? And there's a quote at Emerge that we love. If you take our programs, you're probably going to hear this all the time. It's that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so when we lead with all of the product information and all about our story, we're actually not showing our customer the most important thing, which is how much we care about them. And how many of you guys actually got into Doterra because you genuinely want to help people and you care about them, right? And so this is the place where you get to really, really show them that. You'll be able to show them that you care. So how do you guys feel about that tip? Gain input. Good? Okay. We're making progress. All right, guys. So the fourth key is to personalize the features and the benefits. Now, when we tell our customer all of the information about all of the products, what is happening to their face? You guys can make the face, right? And when we see that face, does that person usually buy? And how come? Why don't they buy when we see that face? Katrin?
When we see the happy face, they buy because they've made a match to the products.
Mm-hmm.
They found the answers to their prayers.
Yeah. And when we see the face that is like glazed over because we've shared all of the information, why aren't they usually buying?
Because
they're overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed,
It's
right?
too much. They can't even make sense of everything they've heard, and they're just shut down because they're overwhelmed.
Yeah, Sherry, exactly, right? And so does an overwhelmed brain make a decision to buy something? And so when we give all of the product information to our customer, they can't make a buying decision. And so we'll hear things like, I need to do some more research on this. This seems really like a big decision. I definitely need to talk to my spouse. I certainly need to think about it, right? Because it's a lot of information. And so it feels like a really big and heavy decision. And so what we want to do is really help our customer understand the products without overwhelming them and doing an information dump. And so we're actually going to personalize the features and benefits, really using the information that we've already learned from them. And so what we teach is to go through the top 10 oils. And I'm going to show you an example. I'll just go through the top 3 and give you an example of how I would do this. Okay, so Michaela, if you're my customer again, and I would just say, all right, so Michaela, the first oil in your kit is lemon. And so earlier when you mentioned getting some allergies during the season, if you have that tickly stuff in the back of your throat, you can actually put a drop of lemon in some hot tea or hot water, and that'll really help with that. Okay. And then have your kiddos ever put stickers on something and you can't get that sticky stuff off to save your life? Or maybe you have a pan that you can't get clean?
Both, many times.
Okay, so lemon is actually something that you can use for either one of those situations. Okay, and then if you ever feel like, gosh, I just kind of need to lift the mood in my home today, lemon is a great one to diffuse, to really just uplift the mood for everyone. How does that one sound?
Sounds great.
Awesome. The next oil in your kit is lavender. And so when you're having those stressful times with your kiddos, I recommend just to put a drop of lavender in the diffuser, put a few drops on their feet, and it'll really help to calm everyone down. It also really helps with a good night's sleep. Okay, and if your kiddos ever get bug bites or scrapes, this is something you can use for that as well to really soothe the sting. How does that one sound?
Wonderful.
Awesome. The next oil in your kit is peppermint. Have you ever had your alarm go off in the morning and you think, I don't think I want to do this today?
Yes.
Yes. So what I recommend is just put a bottle of peppermint on your nightstand. When you wake up in the morning, you can take a big whiff. It'll help wake you right up. You might go do a workout in the morning. I certainly can't guarantee that side effect, but it'll help to really get you right out of bed and wake you up. And then for your husband's headaches, you can actually use this oil as well.
Fantastic.
He's in. He wants to buy all the things. He said, buy it all. And so then we would just go through the rest of the oils just like that. Now, guys, did I go through all the information about the oils? But did I give enough that she actually knows what to use it for? Okay. And here's the thing, if your customer wants more information, because you will have those people that want more information, guess what they're going to do? They're going to ask, right? And so that was really just as simple as a combination of saying either earlier you mentioned or have you ever. and then just give 2 to 3 really simple scenarios. And when they nod their head, you know that they get it, and then you can just move on to the next oil. What do you guys think about that tip?
Invaluable.
Can I say,
Yeah.
say that's absolutely brilliant, because this is where I used to fall into a huge giant trap of over explaining and getting way too enthusiastic. So I think this is absolutely brilliant.
Good, Leanna. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, it gives you a little bit of structure, right, to stay on track.
I like also, Karen, the way you pause in between each comments or description, because it's almost letting the brain sort of digest the information instead of, the tendency is that we tend to speak very fast. So we dump a lot of information, but here is very few, pause, another sentence, pause. So the brain can integrate the information.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Emmanuel.
And I like, for example, that this is a client-centered approach rather than giving info which possibly doesn't relate to them. So this is very important.
I love that. Thank you, Irina.
Karen, actually, when I listen you, and I like it very much, it sounds like you make like a consultation as a therapist, because you ask for all the details, health problems. And normally when you are a therapist, it's exactly what you do. You just answer to the needs of the people. So you ask, I just would like to understand very well, you ask us to put ourselves in the therapist position.
Yes.
More or less.
Yeah. You're the doTherapist.
Yeah, no, I'm a therapist.
I'm just teasing. Yeah, 100%, right? Because it's all about listening, and it's all about understanding what they need. And so I love that you make that point. And it's Benedict, right? And so when you go to a therapist, if you've ever been, right, I love that point, because the whole point is that it's about you and building trust and having a safe place. And so that's really what we want to create with our customers as well. So I think that's a brilliant analogy. Love it.
As a therapist, that actually was what I was thinking. I thought this is exactly what I do as a therapist.
I love that, Naomi. I love that. Very good. Awesome, guys.
I include oils as well.
Good. Yeah.
My clients always get samples.
So good. And so when you do ask those questions, when you are genuine and listening, what happens to your trust?
It increases.
Yeah.
Because that's vital in a client relationship.
Yeah.
You know, when you're going to be working with somebody, you know, for a number of weeks.
Yeah.
It's imperative that they feel that they can trust you.
Yeah.
Because they're telling you a lot of personal stuff.
Right. Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much. All right, guys, are you ready for the last tip?
Can I ask you something before we move on?
Sure, definitely.
It really sounds amazing what you just told us. I was just wondering, if we do a class with more people, how can we customize it?
Yes, I'm so glad that you asked that. That's such a good question. And so really, and by the way, one of the bonuses we have for you guys is how to tailor your one-on-one to a class. But I'm going to give you a brief overview. It's really no different. And so when you have a class, you can simply say, okay, so if everyone can list 1 to 2 health goals that they have, and so you want to make sure it's a little bit different. You can't give unlimited, because then you might have the person that kind of takes over the class. So you can manage it by saying, if everyone can go ahead and write down 1 to 2 health goals, and then we're going to go around and share those health goals. And you can ask those same 3 questions. And then when you get to the part, you can simply say, all right, so Irina, earlier you mentioned this. Karen, earlier you mentioned this. Here's how this is what you would use for that. Isabel, earlier you said this, and here's what you, right? And so you're just doing it in that way and really easily tailoring it to the group. Does that make sense for everyone? Awesome. Okay, good question. All right, guys, and so the very last tip is make it easy to buy with simple choices. And so if we get to the end of our appointment or class and we hold up the enrollment sheets that show all of the kits, or we send folks to the website, guess what happens to their ability to make a decision? How do we think they feel?
Confident.
Overwhelmed again.
Overwhelmed, right? They feel overwhelmed because science of selling actually tells us that when our brain has too many options, our brain actually can't make a decision. And so when we give our customer all of the options, they can't decide. And I'm going to share a story because it's really funny. I had this happen to me recently and I thought, oh my gosh, this is what happened to me. So I was at a store called Sephora, which is, they sell tons of makeup, and I wanted to get lipstick. And I told the sales gal that I wanted a brighter lipstick. I wanted to try something a little bit brighter. And so I think she brought me all the bright lipstick that they had in the entire store, like all the lipstick. And guess what I left with?
Nothing.
Why?
Because your brain couldn't cope with all that.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it when I left, and I'm like, oh, I went to buy lipstick. This is so frustrating. Why didn't I buy lipstick? And here's the thing. If she would have said, here are a few, try these two, and let's see how they look. I think these might look good on you. And then if these don't work, I'll bring you a few more. Do you think that the chances are better that I might have actually bought something?
For sure.
Right? And so we actually want to help our customer in this way make a really simple choice. And so it's really about giving them a few simple options. So it can be as easy as, do you want a kit with a diffuser or without a diffuser? Do you prefer to have the small bottles or the big bottles? You know, would you like the home essentials kit or the family essentials kit? It doesn't matter. You can choose what the options are, but you just present a few. And if those few don't work, then you can give a few more until you find something that's going to work for them. How do you guys feel about that tip?
I like very much this. Do you want a diffuser without a diffuser?
Good.
And that's brilliant. Thank you for sharing this.
Yes, you're welcome. Awesome. All right, guys. So let's do a quick recap of the 5 tips. And so what was the first one?
No more selling on the fly.
No more selling on the fly. What are we going to do instead?
Make an appointment.
Yes, Naomi. What's the second one?
Give an agenda.
Good job, guys. What about the third?
Gain input.
Yep. What about the fourth?
Personalize the features and benefits.
Yep. And the fifth one?
Keep it simple.
Yes. Awesome. You guys get an A, gold star. Okay. And so if we use this process, do you guys remember the reasons that we said customers don't buy? Let's think about that. So if we go through this, do we feel like we have resolved overwhelming our customer?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we feel like we have shown product value? Have we built trust to show them that we're not some pyramid scheme? Okay. And have we resolved feeling like a pushy salesperson and coming across as a pushy salesperson? Awesome, guys. And so this is really why our students make sales on 60 to 80% of their first time appointments. And yes, so the